Nerd, people, Joel Benjamin 528, aka Big Money Benjamin. Salute to the international audience, salute to the domestic. I know it's late at night, but I had to put a few clips together. I had a lot to do, a lot to post up on the YouTube channel, but no more excuses. I had to give y'all this live stream. So I've been sitting back, I've been watching, of course, always to see who's going to post it up. I just been listening, paying attention, and nobody is talking about this type of news. It's getting crazier and crazier. As you can see, title Extreme XRP Emergency. Hold on. There we go. XRP Emergency. Garlinghouse sides with banks. Musk reveals DeSci as Trump eyes tokenized Greenland. Now you might be like, nah, Joel Benjamin 528, you're bugging. Let me tell you something. The World Economic Forum is underway 2026. Brad Garlinghouse also spoke at the World Economic Forum. Trump also spoke at the World Economic Forum. This has been the most spicy World Economic Forum I've ever seen in my life. They was talking all that trash. Trump went to the side. Whatever he said to them or whatever he showed them, all of a sudden they're trying to switch up. But there's a lot going on. Trump is not only trying to acquire Greenland. There's some islands. I'm going to get into that. And all this ties into tokenization as well. And remember those live streams I was telling you about DeSci? Elon Musk talking about DeSci. Larry Fink, Uchiwali backside from BlackRock, want to ask Elon Musk about living longer, longevity. Listen, again, this is the most spicy World Economic Forum I ever seen. I forgot the guy from Trump team. Just update talking about Gavin Newsom and billionaire George Soros, and how the billionaire George Soros is his sugar daddy. Too much spice in it. This was done on the world stage. Larry Fink, let me play this, admitting that the global elites lost its public trust, meaning that they're not able to fool you like before. As always, let me share my screen so you see what I see. Let's get it without further delay, shall we?
We believe that outside the United Nations, this is the largest gathering of global leadership of the post-COVID period of time. For many people, this meeting feels out of step with the moment. We hear all about the elites. And how does that play out in an age of populism? How does an established institution make a difference in an era of deep institutional mistrust? And there's some truth to the critique. I believe in this forum for a long time. I certainly wouldn't be leading this if I didn't believe that we can change and make the world better. But it's also obvious that the world now places far less trust in us to help shape what comes next.
That's crazy work. Every time I'm doing a live stream and I'm showing something that I'm talking about the World Economic Forum, you notice stuff like this happens. Mind you, I got top tier internet and it's plugged in. There's no reason that should have happened. But y'all gonna get this work tonight, or should I say this morning. Y'all gonna get this work. The devil is busy. See, that shows that y'all need to get this. So I'm going to show this again. Hopefully we don't be interrupted again. Let's get it. So this is Larry Fink talking about how the people lost and is not acknowledging that the global elite has lost trust. The global elite has lost their glare, their sparkle. Right? The people lost trust in them.
We believe that outside the United Nations, this is the largest gathering of global leadership of the post-COVID period of time. For many people, this meeting feels out of step with the moment. We hear all about the elites. And how does that play out in an age of populism? How does an established institution make a difference in an era of deep institutional mistrust? And there's some truth to the critique. I believe in this forum for a long time. I certainly wouldn't be leading this if I didn't believe that we can change and make the world better. But it's also obvious that the world now places far less trust in us to help shape what comes next. If the World Economic Forum is going to be useful going forward, it has to regain that trust. We believe that outside the...
And that's not happening. Yeah. It's not happening. There is no regaining trust. They do not trust you. Okay? Period. Point blank. Full stop. As you know, Trump is also suing Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan Chase. Take a listen for yourself. Now, it's real funny because the banks, Trump, or should I say the United States government, is now fighting against the bank. Trump don't like that they debanked him, and he's coming for their necks. I'm going to play this video first, and then just take a listen.
President Trump has filed a lawsuit against JP Morgan Chase and Jamie Dimon personally over allegations of debanking of Trump-related bank accounts during the period of time that the president was out of office. This is a suit for as much as $5 billion filed by the president of the United States and a number of Trump entities against JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon as an individual. And we have a statement here from JP Morgan just within the past couple of seconds. They say, while we regret President Trump has sued us, we believe the suit has no merit. We respect the president's right to sue us and our right to defend ourselves. That's what courts are for. JP Morgan Chase does not close accounts for political or religious reasons. We do close accounts because they create legal or regulatory risk for the company. We regret having to do so, but often rules and regulatory expectations lead us to do so. We have been asking both this administration and prior administrations to change the rules and regulations that put us in this position, and we support the administration's efforts to prevent the weaponization of the banking sector. That's an on-the-record comment from JP Morgan spokesperson Trish Wexler, Scott. So this lawsuit is a 56-page document. We're going through it right now. The gist of the argument is that this debanking was improper and due to political reasons. That's what the president says in the filing. And we saw, Scott, Jamie Dimon, very outspoken in Davos, being one of the few CEOs to go public with criticism of the president over the immigration enforcement issue, criticism of the enforcement operation more broadly. And so this is a flashpoint of tension now between the president of the United States and one of the most powerful bankers on Wall Street, Scott.
So what Trump and the United States government is currently doing right now is trying to do away with the banks and have the crypto exchanges be the new banks. Remember, at the 2026 World Economic Forum, there's only 2 crypto companies that I know of for a fact that was there: Coinbase and Ripple. Brian Armstrong from Coinbase and Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple was there and was speaking. And you know, it's funny how Brian Armstrong was looking at Brad Garlinghouse like he's crazy, because Brad Garlinghouse started talking about, hey, you know, when he was asked about the yield and stable coins and all this other stuff with crypto, and you know, the new new laws for regulation of crypto, homeboy is saying it's like, oh, we don't have a dog in that fight. It's like, what the hell is Brad Garlinghouse talking about? Coinbase is now a bank. Ripple is also now a bank, but Brad Armstrong is looking at Brad Garlinghouse like, bro, you're bugging. And then he's also talking about, oh, we should share the same amount of like innovation and deals, the same laws we're governed by. The banks should be, and it's going to bring healthy competition. A bunch of caca. But let's go to the part with Jamie Dimon. Hopefully I posted that up here. Oh, this is a real good one. Look how it gets spicy. And look how Jamie Dimon take a big load of caca on the World Economic Forum. Because basically this chick right here call him out and tell him he BI made, and he's scared to criticize Trump.
So you're a man with many strong opinions. We've heard that in the last few minutes. Man, not afraid to tell us about those opinions. But I was struck when we were talking about President Trump. You were very, very careful. And you are one of the more outspoken. Just let me finish. Well, you are one of the more outspoken business leaders. I'm genuinely struck by the unwillingness of CEOs in America to say anything critical. There is a climate of fear in your country. Would you agree with that? And what should be done about it?
This is the Davos intellectual elite. You know, I've been coming to Davos all these years and listening to chatter and stuff like that. He didn't do a particularly good job making the world a better place. I think it's great we get together and talk. But what you want me to do, this is.
I want you to answer my question. It's not hard.
Headline that gets razzed up.
No, I don't. Jamie, that's not true. I'm genuine. I've asked you this question off camera.
I've made it clear. I want a stronger NATO, a stronger Europe. Some of the things Trump has done are causing that. Some are not. I'm not a tariff guy, though I'd use it in those 8 cases I had. I think they should change their approach to immigration. I've said it. What the hell else do you want me to say?
Is there a climate of fear?
I think that is completely clear. You know, hey, ready? Here's your headline. I'm a globalist.
I'm not looking for a headline. So you're a man with many strong opinions.
So you see, he said it at the end. He said, here's a headline. I'm a globalist. Yo, the Satan kingdom is now divided. And it's getting even more divided as time goes by. Everything, you see, Larry Fink is one of the heads of the World Economic Forum. Larry Fink is dealing with and pushing tokenization. But make no mistake, Larry Fink is also into DeSci. Everybody's talking about Trump and Greenland. Let me tell you or show you one of the things y'all not paying attention to. Okay, we're gonna get to the Board of Peace. We're gonna get to that. Let's slow it down. Let's bring it back. Where's the video? Okay, listen to this.
I asked him what the president told him. He couldn't tell us. Now he expects us to believe he knows what's going on in President Trump's mind. Let me remind him, his deputy prime minister, then foreign secretary, used to say that if President Trump didn't like the deal, it wouldn't go ahead. And let's look at what President Trump actually said. The Chagos deal is an act of great stupidity and a sign of total weakness. We didn't need President Trump to tell us that. We've been saying this for 12 months. And let's remind the Prime Minister, President Trump thought that we were doing this, that the Prime Minister is doing this for money. The Prime Minister is giving away territory we own and paying £35 billion for the privilege. Why doesn't he just scrap this terrible deal and put the money into our armed forces?
The words from President Trump were expressly intended to put pressure on me to yield on my principles. What he said about Chagos was literally in the same sentence as what he said about Greenland. That was his purpose. And the future of Greenland is a binary issue that is splitting the world at the moment with material consequences. I've been clear and consistent in my position on the future of Greenland. The future is for Greenland and the Kingdom of Denmark alone. The leader of the opposition has taken 3 positions in 10 days. 10 days ago, she said Greenland was, in her words, a second-order issue. 4 days ago, she said she supported our position on Greenland. Now she's backing arguments intended to undermine our position, Britain's position on Greenland. This is an important national moment, and yet again, the leader of the opposition has shown she is incapable of rising to it.
I've already told him we agree on Greenland. I'm asking about the Chagos deal. I asked him what...
Okay, so let me break down what's going on. Homeboy straight up said, yo, Trump applying that pressure on me when it comes to Greenland and the Chagos Islands. Now, in case y'all don't know about Chagos, everybody's talking about Greenland. They're in Parliament out there right now beefing hardcore because Trump don't only want Greenland, he wants Chagos. Mind you, once those islands and those are the assets, the territory gets taken over by US, and mark my words, it will. Everything is going to go into tokenization. I need y'all to follow me and understand what's going on. For people that's complaining about the price of XRP and it's looking pitiful, dare I say it, BlackRock and Ripple is in talks and making a deal. Bet your bottom dollar. They're talking about tokenizing the stock market and everything else from land, water, even air. This is real, people. This goes deeper than what you think it is. So, to give you a briefing, let me show you how important the Chagos deal is.
How did a tiny cluster of islands in the middle of the Indian Ocean become the center of an international dispute involving the UK, the US, and the island nation of Mauritius? The UK has controlled the Chagos Islands for decades. The largest island, Diego Garcia, is also home to a US-UK military base, and it's strategically important, providing a secure location to launch military operations. And UK and US officials argue that the base also helps prevent rivals like China from gaining greater influence in the region. There have been long-running disputes about who the islands really belong to. Now, they were once part of Mauritius when it was still a British colony. In 2019, the International Court of Justice ruled that the Chagos Islands should be handed over to Mauritius. Now, while the court's decision was advisory, the UK has a long tradition of following rules. So last May, the two countries agreed a deal to transfer ownership. Now, under the agreement, the UK can keep running the Diego Garcia base, but it will need to pay Mauritius billions over the next 99 years. The arrangement was welcomed by the Trump administration at the time, calling it a monumental achievement that would ensure the future of the base.
But President Trump has now criticized the handover, calling it an act of great stupidity, claiming the national security implications are why the US needs to acquire Greenland. So suddenly, these tiny group of islands have become part of a much bigger argument.
Translation, we need that. We need that. Come up off of that. We're going to take it. We're going to own it. We're going to tokenize it. That's very important. So we lock down the lifelong ownership. We need Chagos. Some of y'all probably ain't even heard of the Chagos Islands before. This is very important. Okay? They are looking to tokenize you, the human beings. This is going to be like Altered Carbon. I keep telling y'all about that show. It's on Netflix. Watch the show Altered Carbon. Or the movie Time. There's so much movies and shows I could refer you to. Or it's called In Time, I think, with Justin Timberlake. You need to watch these movies. Because now they're dealing with longevity and life. Larry Fink, and I'm shocked, I'm not even going to cap. I'm shocked he asked Elon Musk this question. Now, I've been, about 3-4 years now? I've been doing live streams about DeSci, AI, and OI, Decentralized Science, Organoid Intelligence, and Artificial Intelligence. Organoid intelligence is 1 billion times faster, more energy compliant, okay, and better in every way than AI. This is dealing with the merger of man and machine. And I've broken down to you how XRP is in the bracket of DeSci with merging man and machine, because Ripple is in cahoots with the U.S. Navy to make implantable chips in your hand, where they outsource to a company in Denmark called BuyChip. Elon Musk with Neuralink is also making the chip, or made the chip, that can go within your brain. Now, all this have to be run on a blockchain. Also, side note, this is where silver comes into play and is so important. Listen, I couldn't wait till tomorrow, or should I say later on in the day, to give you this live stream. Too much is going on. I'm sitting back and I'm not seeing anybody reporting on this. So now, without further ado, I'm going to play Elon Musk revealing aging is highly likely. Listen to this.
Can you and I reverse aging?
Reverse aging.
History,
Reversing aging.
Are we going to see it?
Sorry.
Can you and I reverse aging in this new history, or are we going to see it?
You know, I haven't put much time into the aging stuff. I do think it is a very solvable problem. Like you can. I think when we figure out what causes aging, I think we'll find it's incredibly obvious. No, it's not a subtle thing. The reason I say it's not a subtle thing is because all the cells in your body, you know, with some pretty much age at the same rate. I've never seen someone with an old left arm and a young right arm ever in my life. So why is that? That means that there must be a clock, a synchronizing clock, right, that is synchronizing across 35 trillion cells in your body. You know, there is some benefit to death, by the way. It's like there's a reason why we don't actually have a longer lifespan because if people do live forever for a very long time, I think there's some risk of an ossification of society, of things just getting kind of locked in place, it just may become stultifying, just not lack vibrancy. But that said, do I think we'll figure out ways to extend life and maybe even reverse aging? I think that's highly.
Can you and I reverse aging
So,
in this new history?
Translation, we already done it. We're perfecting it more and more every day. Do y'all realize this is not sci-fi no more? This is real. This is right now. That's why Microsoft, Bill Gates, oh, that sucker. They're also making it where they're harvesting your energy to mine cryptocurrency. And in the pattern, it have 666 in there. You cannot make this stuff up. I did a live stream on this already. I'm just doing a quick recap for you. Go watch the old live streams and you'll see where I showed the pattern. There is a pattern where you lie down in the bed and they harness your energy to fuel the blockchain. Watch the movie Elysium. It's dealing with cryptocurrency, the DeSci, the merger or automatons, the merger of man and machine, and they're also dealing with living forever, also dealing with AI because they use the AI police, the robots, to lock you down, right? And then they got the nice little type of tanning bed that rejuvenates your cancer cells, reverse aging and everything. So pretty much putting you in a live forever type state. Not only that, Earth is the ghetto. And they built the space station. Now remember, XLM, which a lot of people ain't talking about and sleeping on, is teamed up with Axiom Space Station, where they're building the first commercialized space station. Amazon, who's already talking about, who's already invested in Ripple, and they're talking about using XRP to deal with finances, to move faster, and everybody just brush over that. Normally that used to be big news. For some reason, it's not being talked about as much. And they just said it casually. And it went over everybody's head. Don't forget how many years ago Amazon was already talking about doing a financial system in space. Y'all ain't hear me. I showed the proof of this. I think it was in 2014 they were talking this. And then all of a sudden, they stopped talking about it. I showed the articles. Y'all need to understand what's really going on. They're not playing with you. Now, to wrap it up and bring it on home, the final conclusion. This is the Board of Peace, introduced at Davos 2026. Listen, watch, pay attention. This goes in big time to the plan. I need you to understand that. Trump is looking to reset the system. At first, I thought he was doing a soft reset, but he's ramping it up into a hard reset. This is the New World Order. The Board of Peace is the New World Order. XRP is the financial instrument to push the New World Order agenda, aka the Great Reset. The Board of Peace. And y'all needed to see this signing, the whole thing. Listen.
Please welcome the Chairman of the Board of Peace, the President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Donald J. Trump, the Chairman of the Board of Peace. Let me tell you, Trump showed the hell out at the World Economic Forum 2026. He told all the nations you wouldn't be nothing without America. He poo-pooed all over Canada. Okay? He let you know I could take Greenland right now if I wanted to by force, but I'm not going to. And he also let them know, you don't give it to me, we will remember. All of them was acting uptight. Trump had that meeting with them on the side. Mind you, they told all those nations, do not retaliate. Do not retaliate against Trump. He will be here in Davos, Switzerland, at the World Economic Forum 2026. Once you hear what he have to say, why he already looked to strike a deal, and they highly consider it, if not already considered it, with him getting Greenland and the Chagos Island. What do he know and what's going on that all of a sudden they were all uptight, beefy, mad, and as soon as he went talk to them, all of a sudden they switching their tone and kissing his ass. Y'all don't see what's going on? Listen to the announcement again, in case y'all didn't hear it.
Please welcome the Chairman of the Board of Peace, the President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
The Chairman of the Board of Peace, Donald J. Trump. The Board of Peace. This ain't no... Gosh, yo. Do y'all know what's coming down the pipeline? Do y'all know what's happening right now? Y'all are not able to brace yourself fast enough.
This is a very exciting day.
When the poo-poo hit the fan.
Long in the making. Many countries just received their notice. Everybody wants to be a part of it. And we'll work with many others, including the United Nations. But I want to thank you all for being here. Yesterday we had an incredibly successful visit with many of the world's top business leaders, the best, the biggest, most successful, and foreign heads of state. And now we have one of the most important meetings of all, the official formation of what is known as the Board of Peace.
Y'all think this is a game? This is the formation of the Board of Peace at the World Economic Forum. And you have a bunch of others want to join. You know what this is? This is a counter to the BRICS nation. And they're all banging it out. Satan kingdom is divided.
Congratulations, President Trump. The charter is now in full force and the Board of Peace is now an official international organization.
The Board of Peace are now an official international organization.
We will now continue the signing ceremonies, beginning with the President of Argentina and the Prime Minister of Armenia.
Go watch the whole video. This is real. Donald Trump, the Board of Peace. Let's get it. Real time for you. Trump rolls out his Board of Peace, but it's not clear how many leaders will join him. Yeah, look at this. Trump says Canada is no longer welcome on the Peace Board. Mind you, he got up there and let Canada know y'all are ungrateful. You know Canada is getting taken over next. You know there's parts. Look, real time. The parts of Canada that wants, real time people, wants to join the US. Alberta compromised a series of 20th to 21st century movement advocating the succession of the province of Alberta from Canada, with some groups supporting the creation of a sovereign union with the other province of West Canada or Alberta joining the United States as the United States or territory. Now listen to me carefully. If they leave and they're already been signing whatever petition, getting the stuff in order, let me tell you, Canada is done. One of the things that they have a whole lot of is silver. I could put the clip up on my YouTube and show you the breakdown of what they're looking to do. Movement for the annexation of Canada to the United States. If they lose this portion right here, I think they're dealing with the resources of 60% of Canada, for Canada, and they are rich over there. They're done with a D-U-N, done, over, O-V-A. That's why the leaders are tight, and that's why Trump could say what he just said right here. You're no longer welcome. We're going to take the majority of your resources. America first. Bia. Okay? Okay? Look, so we got the Daily Beast. Let's see. Countries call BS on being part of Trump peace grift. Really? Is that so? All right? This is monumental. And of course, it's going to just be brushed over and overlooked for now. But now you know. Let me tell you something. Regardless if it's BRICS, Board of Peace, whatever it is, you know what fits in there? XRP as the bridge currency. Huh? Do y'all understand that? Do y'all get it now? So now we got Brad Garlinghouse looking to switch up on us. Let me end it with this, man. Because, you know, I be trying. I really do my best to give y'all the source. Just finding this information. Oh, CZ was also there. I would say CZ is part of Binance, but you know. He wink wink ain't part of them no more. That's neither here nor there.
First up, tokenized assets on Ripple's XRP ledger.
Listen to the question.
Brad, on that note, there are lots of sound bites there, lots to respond to. You're already seeing the momentum. First up, tokenized assets on Ripple's XRP ledger surged over 2,200% last year. Just weigh in from your perspective.
Well, I think I agree with a lot of what was said here. You know, I do think
I'm gonna rewind that.
Lots of sound bites there, lots of response.
Listen to this again.
You're already seeing the momentum. First up, tokenized assets on Ripple's XRP ledger surged over 2,200% last year.
2,200% last year. That's 2025. A surge in tokenization of what? Who is doing all this tokenization on the XRP ledger? That's in 2025, last year. Of course, that goes over everyone's head. What is being tokenized? How does it has that surge on the XRP ledger? No one's asking that question, right?
Just weigh in from your perspective.
Well, I think I agree with a lot of what was said here. You know, I do think the first poster child of tokenization is really stable coins. You saw, as Brian observed, you know, massive growth last year. I think, you know, went from in 2024, $19 trillion of transactions on stable coins last year. In 2025 is 33 trillion. So about 75% growth. I think many in our industry would say that's going to continue. I think to the extent there's space between what Brian was just talking about and how I think about the Bitcoin idea of a Bitcoin standard, I look at that and I think it's much more of the marriage. You know, sovereignty of fiat currencies, I believe, is for many countries sacrosanct. Ben Bernanke spoke at a Ripple event many years ago, and he made the point that governments will roll tanks into the street before giving up monetary supply, giving up the control of monetary supply, which stuck with me as, yeah, that makes sense. And so at Ripple, we very much focus on building the bridges between traditional finance, as Bill was describing, you know, what we now call TradFi, and decentralized finance. And that has meant working with a lot of the banks around the world to kind of build those bridges.
Governor, you have to address this. Is the euro in danger from a Bitcoin standard?
No, I'm a bit skeptical, Brian. Sorry to say it about this idea of the Bitcoin standard. We left.
Yeah, they laugh. Brian Armstrong, right? Laughing what Brian Armstrong said.
It was only a technical mean.
But there's also an element of momentum. We're seeing it in terms of
part of this, and I think, you know, frankly,
which is now just a momentum trade as trust has eroded. Brad, do you want to come in on this and the element of trust?
Well, I certainly think momentum is a big part of this, and I think, you know, frankly, I personally think the crypto environment and stablecoins included, and even tokenization, momentum is so much on our side of that direction. And that's partly because you're seeing the US, the largest economy in the world, has been pretty openly hostile towards facets of crypto and blockchain technologies. And that has shifted dramatically, you know, starting with the White House, but certainly, you know, the work that the industry based in the US has come together and helped elect a much more pro-crypto, pro-innovation Congress. And you're seeing that play out. So I think momentum is a big part of this. And you know, continuing to make sure that we're playing into that in a nice way, but also demonstrating real results. Because look, if this is just hype, I think part of the tokenization topic, the main topic today, part of that is like we shouldn't tokenize everything just to tokenize something. There has to be a positive outcome of efficiency or transparency or some of the root benefits of being tokenized. Otherwise, it's just like, okay, it's a nice science experiment.
I'm surprised no one's throwing democratization of the market to me. That's typically the argument when we have some sort of innovative approach to an asset class.
You heard what he said about tokenization, right? Now check this out. Because I'm like, yo, what is Brad doing? Where is he going at with this? Brad Garlinghouse talk about, with Congress, how we got a more pro-crypto. He started the super PAC Fair Shake where 80% of the Congress, 80% of the candidates that they were backing, including the President of the United States that's in the White House right now, pretty much is in his pocket. Y'all understand that, right? Y'all do get that, right? Y'all do know the reason why crypto is as big as it is in the United States and more crypto friendly is because of Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple, XRP starting Fair Shake. Remember when Trump won, how much XRP Ripple gave him? Y'all forget about that. Y'all forget that the strategic reserves, XRP is one of the cryptos.
Brad, come in on this because you're the innovator in the room, but you also believe in regulation.
Yeah, I think what's going on in the U.S. right now it is a classic dynamic of when you create new law, it's never going to be perfect. And, I think what's the dynamic within the industry and working with Congress has been kind of, I subscribe to the idea that perfection is the enemy of good, and you can't get to perfection. And so I think Brian's exactly right. We're as close as we've ever been in providing that clarity. As some in the room probably know, Ripple lived through a 5-year battle with the U.S. government being sued because of the lack of clarity. So we are very much an advocate of clarity is better than chaos. I think Brian's right. We are very close. I don't know if we
stalled. What about the rewards side? Rewards, dividends, interest. Is it necessary on stablecoins?
Listen to this part. And this is why I said, we got to watch Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple. Listen to this part.
Ripple doesn't have as much of a dog in that fight.
Listen to the question. Let me back it up.
What about the rewards side? Rewards, dividends, interest. Is it
rewards, dividends, interest? That's a big topic. We got Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan Chase and all the other banks that's trying to fight against that. And because of Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, he's the one that helped kill that. And Brad Garlinghouse is talking on in the next interview, a bill and then we work around it to make it better. No! Listen to this bullshit caca answer he gave her.
Necessary on stablecoins?
Ripple doesn't have as much of a dog in that fight as others in the industry. And so there's others that have stronger opinions. It doesn't directly affect Ripple's business as much. I agree in some ways that, look, competition is good. And I agree very much with the idea of level playing field. Now, I also think a level playing field goes two ways, in that crypto companies should be held to standards that banks are, and banks should be held to standards that crypto companies are in order to compete. So I don't think that's a one-way street that somehow Team Crypto gets to have, a certain pass in some way.
Is that one for you?
Sure. I'll comment briefly. Not all layer one blockchains are created equal. Some use, as you're describing, proof of work. Some use proof of stake. Some use other consensus models. So I wouldn't uniformly put all of the kind of blockchain infrastructure in kind of one power lens. And so I don't think it's as big as a deal. And what you're seeing is most of the activity of stablecoins today is on more power efficient blockchains, either use proof of stake or a consensus mechanism.
Just to add to that, proof of stake uses 99.9% less energy than proof of work,
right,
which most of the tokenization is happening on the Ethereum blockchain, which uses proof of stake.
I'm going to touch on that. Does it provoke more speculation in asset classes, and where does it leave the average owner?
Well, you're choosing the word speculation. I subscribe to Brian Armstrong's comment earlier of like opening up investment access, and investment versus speculation. I put it in kind of two different buckets. They both have a purpose. They both have.
That's enough. Cause Brad Garlinghouse is pissing me to hell off. He gonna make me act like that dude from Track NYC. Where the F is my money? What the hell you mean you don't have a dog in that fight? Are you stupid or are you stupid? I'm talking to Brad Garlinghouse right now. You got to be kidding me. Ripple have a stable coin. Ripple has an XRP token, right? The XRP token, that's a cryptocurrency. Y'all have the blockchain or the ledger, right? Where y'all dealing with tokenization. And y'all just became a trust bank. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me, Brad. What's really going on? And you see how Brian had to jump in. Are y'all, listen, I'm cooking right now. Are y'all eating? I know it's late, but are y'all eating? I ain't even tell people, salute to the international audience, salute to the domestic. So, y'all trying to eat all for yourselves? What do you mean with collecting yield and the staking and whatnot? What you mean? We gotta eat too, Brad. You think we just holding XRP and RLUSD to hold on to it? Not only that, you look at this tokenized assets on the XRP ledger. So we ain't supposed to get no interest off of that. Yeah, right. Joel Benjamin 528, aka Big Money Benjamin. Salute to the international audience. Salute to the domestic. Salute to all those that rock with me. You heard it here first. Watch. As soon as Trump get the Chagos Island, if he ain't already got it, I done seen stuff talk about, yo, they already look to agree to the deal. And Greenland. You're going to see Brad Garlinghouse ass hop up right there along with Larry Fink from BlackRock and start tokenizing everything. Stop playing with me. Look, CZ, just to show you, he was at the World Economic Forum. Okay, when you get a chance, you could go and listen to this. All right, because he was also talking on the banks. The banks are pretty much done. If they don't get down or lay down, they're done. I already told you, Coinbase and Ripple is the new bank. Who's the two major CEOs there at Davos, Switzerland, World Economic Forum 2026? Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple and Brian Armstrong from Coinbase. Keep thinking this shit is a game. Peace.